Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Duke of Italy, favorite lo-fi music YouTuber, and welcome to something a little different for today. Today we're actually covering a show, a concert I saw on the 27th, King Crimson in Atlanta, and I got some mixed thoughts. I had a fun time. I brought Bridget down, fun 4-hour drive, but I just wanted to give my quick little thoughts, tell you if it's worth seeing them. Short answer, yes. Long answer, yes, hopefully, but I could give a way longer answer. King Crimson's got a huge catalog if you listen to them at all. But they have four like highly regarded albums as like their best, In the Court of the Crimson King, Lark's Tongues in Aspic, Red, and Discipline in that order of chronology. Those are all their like widely regarded as best albums. But at the show I went to in particular, they only played 3 songs from those 4 albums as a whole, and none from Lark's Tongues and Aspic, which is weird because that's widely regarded as their best album. That's not my opinion. That's my favorite is Red, which they did play a song from, but they even had shirts, Lark's Tongues shirts that they were selling at the merch bar, but they never played any Lark's Tongue songs. They played one In the Court song, which was In the Court of the Crimson King, which was great. They did a great job on that, even though the audience feels a little weird because they're all boomers, really, so they don't really know how to react properly. But the ending section where it all comes back in and it's super dense was just awesome. They played one track from Discipline, which actually ended their first set. This was In Discipline. I going into In Discipline, I thought they were going to do it just like the album, but they actually did it with an extended drum solo to begin, which was actually pretty rad. But the issue was they sang all the words, which they don't do that on the album because it's so like atonal and weird. It's like spoken word, which keeps up the tension a lot. They didn't do that on the live performance. That was actually my least favorite moment of the entire night. Was hearing one of my favorite King Crimson songs, kind of gouged, kind of mutilated. It was a sad listening experience. Sorry, Fripp, if you hear this, but I think your new rendition, your old rendition's better. Like, no, there was no reason to change it. Show was fun. As I said earlier, I went down with Bridget. They opened with a California Guitar Trio, which was one dude playing a Chapman stick and 2 dudes playing guitars. They kind of had like a post-rock thing going on there. Apparently they're Fripp's students, as one dude next to me said, which was pretty cool. They played some cool tunes before King Crimson came out. They played a drum solo to begin with, which I don't know if I mentioned this. They have 3 drummers in this rendition of King Crimson, which has its cons and its pros. Cons, it can totally drown out the mix. 100% can absolutely drown out the mix with this massive presence of drums. The pros is you do have so much drum presence that you cannot possibly that's more than you'll need, and sometimes it fits so well, and that's especially when it works for the bigger songs when they all do the drums and they're just shredding the whole thing. In Discipline was a good example of that. The opening bit was pretty fun, but I think how they did it was a little campy, not as jazzy as Bruford would do it, but if 3 Brufords did it, obviously that'd be perfect. But Pat Mistelato and the boys did a great job. Also, in terms of the people up there, Pat Mistelato and Mel Collins, they kind of stole the show. Mel Collins, who actually was on an early version of Crimson, he's the second oldest member up there in terms of longevity with the group. Not longevity, but like early presence in the group. I think he shows up on Wake Up Poseidon and then the next few albums, which is crazy but the dude was just blowing the roof off the place with his saxophone skills. Just crazy stuff. They did Circus from Lizard, which the 2 Lizard tracks they played were pretty satisfying to hear. He did a wonderful job, especially in Circus with that one saxophone line. Also, they played a part of the Lizard Suite. That was pretty fun too. A really tense moment. I enjoyed that a lot. The first set they had, which is pretty much the material I've been talking about so far, was pretty much perfect up until In Discipline, actually. They even right before In Discipline, they played Islands, which was a really cool change of pace, which I just loved. It was really beautiful, and they actually added in some drums and like bass work too, which really gave it like this way thicker feeling and a more of a sense of progression. A lot of people kind of clown Islands as like one of the weaker albums in Crimson's discography. I actually disagree. I'd put it up there with your In the Wake of Poseidon, your Lizard, your I guess What would it be another about like B tier Crimson album? I guess Power to Believe. I guess I put it up there too. Also, I totally forgot to mention the how they started their first set after the drum solo. They played Pictures of a City. It's a good song, but it sounds a lot like 21st Century Schizoid Man, which they never played the whole night, which is massively unfortunate. But I actually watched a live version on like YouTube, and they play it pretty slow now, so I'm actually okay with that. What they did play on the second set was they opened with Neurotica from Beat. If I were to pick between Beat and Three of a Perfect Pair, I'd actually pick Three of a Perfect Pair. So I would have loved to hear maybe Three of a Perfect Pair, or I don't know, Industry, one of those tracks. But Neurotica is a great song. I think Beat has like 3 or 4 songs that are like really good, and they kind of match up to or even excel beyond what Three of a Perfect Pair can do. But Neurotica is pretty solid. And then we actually got The Construction of Light, which it's a weird track to throw in the set. And I know King Crimson has like 13 albums, and they're all at least like okay. I think they have a couple weaker ones, but I think most of their albums are pretty good, and actually I'd say probably half of them are great. The issue is like no one cares about Construction of Light, honestly. Like I saw one guy on Mew be like, "Whoa, it's actually like a way deeper experience." I don't buy it, honestly. I think Construction of Light has a couple dud tracks. Overall, it's fine. Not a crazy good album, but I mean the song is good. The song Construction of Light is good. I could go without the electronic drums. They sound kind of weird and super dated. But live. It was I'm not gonna say it was disappointing because it sounded good. I just wasn't like, whoa, I hope I hear Construction of Light tonight. If anything, it would have been the opposite. I would have been like, whoa, I hope I don't hear anything from these 2 albums, so I get hyped for like the rest of the catalog. And then after that, we actually got In the Core of the Crimson King, which I talked about a little bit earlier. Mixed on that, another reason was they had this big delay before they went into the chorus. They did In the Core of the Crimson, and then it was like they stretched that part for like an extra second. It wasn't so much as to like build tension. It just felt kind of campy, honestly. And I thought it was kind of because they're all getting kind of old, and like maybe they just played a little slower, but that wasn't really the case. I mean, half of them up there were like still jamming on other tracks, so I don't really see the reason they had to do that. And then we got Radical Action 2, which is a live track by King Crimson. I kind of expected a song I didn't know, even though I know their whole studio album discography. I don't know any King Crimson live tracks. So Radical Action 2, I was like, I don't know what this is. I thought it was like maybe Lark's Tongue Part 4 or 3 or something, but it didn't really matter to me. But what happened was the next song they actually played was Level 5, which is from The Power to Believe. Here's the thing. King Crimson really playing 2 songs from their 95 material onward in a set of like 10 songs, like that is their least impressive period, like by far. Like sure, you got Thrack, which some people love, and you got Power to Believe, which I kind of love, even though I think that album is campy as hell. But I mean, no one cares that much about Construction of Light. I don't really care about Thrack. Most people don't care about Power to Believe. I'm sure most of us would rather hear you play stuff from like Beat, even. Hell, any of the first albums. You could have played Ladies of the Road, honestly, from Islands, and I would have been like, hell yeah, sounds great. So that track was a little disappointing in its placement. But Level 5 actually ended the King Crimson set. They were like technically done. So they went off stage and everyone was cheering. And of course, they come back for an encore. I was not surprised. I thought they were going to play 2 more songs. I thought they were going to play 21st Century Schizoid Man. But actually, they just played Starless. Fortunately for me, this was the best song of the night. And to be honest, it's the best song I've ever seen live. Utterly crazy. Jocko on the vocals, there are some songs he can do super well in Crimson. A lot of the 1970 to 75 material, he sounds really, really great. I think Starless, maybe, I don't know, maybe he's getting a little old for that high note. But he does have that really nice mellow tone. But of course, I mean, when I think of like King Crimson vocalists, I think like maybe Greg Lake works better for more of the harsh stuff, like Pictures of a City, or especially 21st Century Schizoid Man. But actually, I've seen clips of Jocko doing 21st Century Schizoid Man. He sounds just great. I'm digressing a little bit. Starless was the best song of the night. This giant 7-piece band up there just killed it. It was the most tense song I've ever seen, one of the most entertaining. And I don't know if it was just because I was tired, but it had like a profound effect upon me. One that I don't find hard to describe, but I doubt I will ever replicate, because it was just so insane. Basically, about like 3-ish minutes in, the song reaches this like immense climb of a build. If you haven't listened to the song, go listen to it. Like, what are you doing? Like, Red is one of the best albums ever. Like, go listen to Red by King Crimson. But Starless has this crazy build of Jocko and Fripp on the guitar, just doing this just crazy stuff. And the bass line that Levin was playing is so tense. It's unbelievable. And this is like the reason 3 drummers were here, was to play Starless, because they were just wailing on the kit. Just the toms were just wrecked by the end of the night. The cymbals were probably just crying. They just went ballistic. Yeah, it was utterly insane. I find it a little hard to describe how hard they were going, but it was like it's like they opened their third eye and was like, how do we play it even more? And they were using cymbals they never used before. Pat Mastelotto had a gong he was spinning around and just clanging on, which was sick. It was weird, but it was awesome. And then the lights started turning red when you hit that second guitar angular part right before the saxophone like releases the whole thing. And this is that profound effect. I remember this distinctly. I remember like my eyes like widening and just my face like peeling back. Like it felt like my face was like melting. That's how big this effect was. I know it sounds crazy, but it's just nuts. So that was the show. After that, I was hyped. Starless was like a dream of mine to see that live. But as a show overall, pretty good. I really wanted to see King Crimson before they all retired, so I was happy with that. Track list and Indiscipline broke my heart. Like first of all, I was hoping they'd play like Frame by Frame, or Thela Hunjinji, or Elephant Talk, or Mate Kudasai. They could have played Mate Kudasai and it would have sounded amazing up there. We could have put it instead of Islands. I would have taken it over Islands, even though I love Islands. Indiscipline left something to be desired. But the Lizard tracks were really great. I was happy to hear the Lizard tracks. Hearing anything from Beat or later, I didn't really care for. If I heard the track 3 for Perfect Pair, I would have been pretty excited though. Lizard was great. Hearing stuff from the Big 4 albums was something I really wanted to hear. But if I had like any like real issue with the show, it didn't like feel ballsy at all, which is a weird thing. But there's a lot of live shows out there that feel ballsy. It's because they open up with something so hard hitting. Pictures of a City doesn't really do that for me. That's like saying like what if like some other band played like one of their B-sides that's just really good, but like it doesn't leave an impact because no one knows who it is. Like let's say Foo Fighters opened a show with My Way Home or Long Way Home. I don't remember the track, but it's like the second to last on Color and the Shape. Really hype song, really amazing build. Not much build at all, but it's just really punchy and aggressive. Like no one would get it. It's just like they don't really know it. Like you got to open with something that people are like, whoa, that's crazy. Crimson didn't really do that, unfortunately. But the set overall was really fun. I loved the show. Would I see them again? Yeah, I want to see them with a different set list. I want to catch what else they might play, because I just know they got some even more cool stuff under their belt. But that's about it. I recommend you go see King Crimson. If you like King Crimson at all, go ahead and go see them. Dive through the discog too. Like it's actually like a very solid discography. Not a lot of flaws at all. But that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. Go ahead and follow my social medias in the description. Join the Discord too. That's about it. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Have a good one. Bye.